In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. George Orwell. Yeah. This is Blood Politics. The only podcast where we don't talk about politics. We be about politics. And our mission statement is to empower, educate, and encourage everyone to speak out against fascism. Speak out against injustice and fight for freedom and equality for everyone. This is Blood Politics, and we ain't stopping till they put us in the grave. We ain't gonna be quiet, and we ain't gonna be scared, and we ain't gonna go along.
All right, we're
with
gonna
the
hop right
crowd.
into it. What do you say we hop right into it? We got a ton to try to cram into about an hour, so I appreciate you guys for joining me. Thank you for dealing with me. Thank you for taking the time out of your day, clicking that like button, hitting that subscribe button as we try to make our push for 25,000 subscribers. It is 17 June. It is Wednesday. And once again, thank you for being here. My name's Brian. This is the Blunt Politics Podcast. Thank you so much to the chat. Thank you so much to this space, all the mods over there, and especially Matt for including me in this coalition. Like I said, lots to try to cram into today's show. Further embarrassment on the world stage for the United States as Donald Trump looks old, looks really sickly, stumbling over himself, slurring his words, erratic behavior, again calling for more bombs to be dropped on the heads of Iranians. We'll go through all the clips. This is as J.D. Vance is being thrown under the bus pretty consistently here. They've made him go out on his little world tour, his little media tour that he's on. He's as much confirmed the $300 billion fund that the Iranians will get access to. Meanwhile, at the G7 in France, Donald Trump seems to be, again, throwing JD under the bus and saying that's not going to be a thing. But again, the wording that they're using seems to be very specific, saying that it's not American taxpayer money. Well, okay, then whose money is it going to be? Again, are you going to make our Gulf partners, our allies in the region that took all of these missiles and drones on our behalf, are you going to make them pay for the damages that we went in there into Iran and caused? I'm just curious how that's going to work. So we'll be taking a look at, like I said, Trump's completely and utterly embarrassment of the United States at the G7. I feel like this deal, like we were talking about in the Zoom, is maybe dead on arrival, DOA. I'm speculating here, and we may get some sort of deal done. But, the way that the Israeli security minister is speaking, Ben-Gvir, about just, straight up defying the peace terms, going into southern Lebanon and continuing their push, seems to be a pretty big red line in the sand. This is something that the Iranians time and time again have said, if that continues, if that persists, then we will no longer engage in negotiations with the United States. So a couple clips to come from that. U.S. casualties apparently are still going up, still rising. There's an Intercept article that I want to show briefly, talking about how, we're definitely not getting the truth as far as the statistics, the numbers of U.S. service members that were wounded in this fight. We get a clip here from Newsmax's Rob Finnerty, who thinks he dunks on liberals. He thinks oh my God, does he think he thinks he's got an award-winning clip in this one. And boy, oh boy, does he swing and fucking miss on this. We got James O'Brien on LBC explaining how Trump is a deranged idiot. I'm right there with them on that one. We got Professor Gerrits talking about some more good news for Ukraine, and we got Josiah from Pondering Politics put together a pretty good video compiling some footage from Fox News, basically of their freakout over the clear capitulation by the United States and everything that Iran will be afforded as far as this memorandum of understanding stated, as we went over in the last show. But like I said, ton to cram into this hour today. I appreciate you guys. Anything that we don't get to, we'll get to tonight. We have a show tonight, 8:30 p.m. That's going to be 2 hours. So always on Wednesdays, 2 shows. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to the chat. We're going to hop right into it, though. So like I said, so I don't waste any time, let me throw this on the screen, and we'll start off here. I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet. Thank you guys again. We're up to 62% of our NAFO 69 Sniffing Brigade campaign. The push that we continue to make as this small group, this small army that we've put together here is, again, it's really heartwarming. It's touching. It continues to give me hope for the future. So thank you guys for raising, again, nearly 13,000 euro in under 2 weeks, probably up around $15,000 at this point. So, big round of applause, big pat on the back for you guys, trying to get the 3rd Operational Battalion Artillery Platoon, their NAFO 3.0 vehicle, And again, it's only with your help and persistence and sharing this out and obviously contributing yourselves that we're going to be able to make that push here. Another 38% to go. Best patches in the game. So again, if you have a $5, you got a $10, you can throw it in there. I would definitely say it's worth the cause. It's definitely worth you guys doing it. So I appreciate you guys. Everybody that's utilizing the Venmo up there in the left-hand corner, in this corner right here, to contribute to the show. It's very much appreciated. Again, we are an independent channel here. We have no financial backers, no corporation resources that we could dive into, dip into. We don't sell you anything from outside resources. We don't put ads into our shows here. Basically, we have a merch shop at bostonbrian.com, and we have our fantastic community that helps keep this channel running. So thank you guys very, very much for your support and making this show grow and helping us continue to be there and get our opinions and facts and everything else out there. It is greatly appreciated. All right, so what do you say we dive into a little bit of the nonsense? Like I said, the complete and total embarrassment of the United States on the world stage here at the G7, whether it's just how he looks, how he stands. Like, look at his face just in what we're showing right now on the screen. I mean, he looks just terrible. Absolutely terrible. The way he sat down in the chair, I don't know if he's like worried about his flatulence. I don't know if he's worried about the shit in his diaper. I'm not really sure if he's got a back injury or, again, it's just his swollen cankles that won't let him sit down too quickly. Or maybe he was just worried about the look of sitting in that tiny chair when he was meeting with Xi Jinping. Remember that in China? And he was sitting in that little fucking tiny chair. Meanwhile, Xi was up, tall, standing tall. Maybe he was worried about that, but not looking good, not speaking well. The erratic, I'm sure you've maybe seen the clip where he walks in, it says, "I'm the boss," and everybody's kind of like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, shut up. Remember where he came in his first administration and like pushed everybody out of the way and like pushed himself to the front of the crowd? Like, we're seeing kind of that type of thing happen again. You can see Aaron Rupar says here, Trump looks terrible today and very slowly lowers himself into the chair. I'll play it without the sound, but you can see, look at his face is drooping, right? Everybody's suspecting that there was a stroke coming into play somewhere, sometime, but you can see he's not doing well by any stretch of the imagination. His hands are all swollen still with the makeup. There's some pictures and photographs of his cankles as well. Oh, thank you, Slacks. Let's go, brother. Appreciate you, my friend. Let's go, Slacks. Slack says, love to you, my brother. Love to all my fellow Bryantologists. I know Brian will cringe at this, but New York Knicks NBA champion. No, congratulations. Congratulations. I got nothing but praise and admiration for the Knicks fans. You guys have definitely suffered through enough losing seasons where you are deserving of it. You were the underdogs going in, I know a lot of people won't buy it or believe it, but the animosity between the rivalry between New York City and Boston, when it comes to sports, is typically when we're playing each other. You know what I mean? Typically, I'll generalize, not in all cases, but congratulations to everybody, especially that's out there from New York, watching from New York. You guys definitely, like I said, waited long enough, suffered long enough. So I got nothing but love for you guys. Nothing but love for you. All right, but again, the way that Donald Trump's sitting down here, not showing us a man that is well in health, let's just say, or in complete control over his faculties, whether it's what he's saying, not kind of knowing where he's going, kind of having to be shuffled around by the different world leaders. Like, no, we're going in this direction. Hey, Mr. President, we're trying to take a picture. Can you look in this direction? See how everybody's facing that direction? Yeah, how about you face that direction so we can get this fucking picture, you moron? But there was a couple instances like this in a few clips that we'll go into. I have one from Instagram because I know the sound isn't very good on the old Twitter sphere here. This is where he's talking about the Iran deal. He says it's a very strong deal. Nobody knows what it is, but it's very strong. Again, the details, the specific details of this, memorandum of understanding still yet to be released. There's been leaks and, suspected, prints out there saying that this is what's stated, but nothing for certain yet. So it's basically all reporting and speculation until it's released by the White House. I heard that the White House said it was based on like Pakistani mediators saying not to release it, which is hard for me to buy, hard for me to believe. Like, why the hell? Why would they care? They've been mediating the whole time. Aren't they desperate to tell the world that there's a deal in place? Like, so that part didn't make sense either. But we don't really need to see that one. This is where he talks about the $300 billion reconstruction fund funded by Gulf allies. And he says that it's just false, right? We heard from J.D. Vance's own mouth the basic confirmation that that was going to be a thing, reassured everybody that it wasn't going to be American taxpayer money, but did say that it was going to be a thing. Well, again, being thrown under the bus here by his dear leader. Here's Donald Trump telling everybody that that's false. And listen to the words that he uses. Again, they're very eager to stipulate that it's not going to be American taxpayer money. Meanwhile, not giving any specific answer as to like where these funds are going to be coming from. Not only that, but it's kind of irrelevant whether or not it comes from the purse of the United States or the purse of the Gulf out. Like Iran, at the end of the day, is still going to be enriched, right? They're still going to be paid for their sufferings. And the irony of Donald Trump in this same exchange here, talking about Barack Obama having to pay his way out of whatever troubles he was facing with Iran, and Donald Trump didn't have to do that, is so absolutely ridiculously asinine and out of touch with reality, because that is exactly what he's doing. And again, to the tune of billions and billions and hundreds of billions of dollars more than anything that was related to the JCPOA. Right. So it's out of my, I don't understand how there's no reporter in this room that's like, well, sir, that doesn't make sense, because that's exactly what you're doing. And even more so than you take shots at Barack Obama for doing. So let's just play this quick clip here where he says that it's false. That fund is not happening. People can invest. He's not going to stop people from investing, but it's definitely not going to be something that we're putting up money for. But again, not realizing or recognizing that at the end of the day, the money's still going to get to Iran. And again, the ridiculousness of making our Gulf allies, Gulf partners that have U.S. bases on their soil, they're going to pay for the damages that the United States and Israel are responsible for. That's not going to make people want to work with us in the future. I can guarantee you that. But here, real quick with this asshole.
President, can you address the MOU that's been reported includes...
Have I read it?
Well, it's been reported that it includes a $300 billion reconstruction fund funded by Gulf allies. That's false?
It's false. People, you can invest if you want. I mean, what am I going to do? Say nobody's ever allowed to invest? No, we're not investing. We're not putting up 10 cents. And people can decide to do that, but that's up to them. I mean, do you want me to say nobody's ever allowed to invest in a country? I'll say it with Egypt. I
mean, again, the complete 180. We're going to destroy their leadership. We're going to destroy their military. We're taking out their Navy. We're taking out their Air Force. We're taking out their fast attack boats. We're hitting all their missile launching sites, their drone launching sites. All of that's going to be eradicated. These people are crazy. You can't trust them. You can't negotiate with them. The only thing that they understand is bombs and strength and power. Now, all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, sure, you guys can just go invest. Everybody should be investing with them. Lift all the sanctions, send them, a couple $400 billion. And, what the hell, what are we doing all this for? I don't know what you guys are talking about. It's like, what? Wait a minute. Did we not just go through an entire war, lose, 13 servicemen and women? God knows how many wounded at this point, because that number seemingly still is going up. Reported by The Intercept, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Like, again, all the money that was spent, all the hardship, economic hardship brought upon the people of the United States, the people of the world in general. Like, what did we go through all of that for? Now, if it's just like a country that anybody can invest in, anybody can just throw, you know what I mean? Like, you see how that doesn't, I mean, clearly you do see how that doesn't line up with everything that he's been saying, but it's crazy to me. And you'll see, like I said, Josiah put together a pretty good video of Fox News clips where they're like, this makes no sense. What the hell are we doing here? They're kind of freaking out over there as for, the terms of this MOA, basically. But let's see what else he says in this.
He's allowed to invest in Egypt. Am I supposed to say that?
I'm asking whether...
We are not investing in it, and we do not have a fund.
Are you asking Gulf countries?
No, I'm not. I'm not. If they do it, fine. But I would say they won't be doing it for a while until they find out the behavior.
So he's ruled out it coming from the United States, and he's now ruled out, again, it coming from the Gulf nations. Like, so who the fuck is this $300 billion coming from, right? What are we going to do? Shamam, alakazam, and it's just going to appear in the Iranian fucking hand, in their hands? Like, what's happening here? That $300 billion is in all of the fucking text. It's been pretty much confirmed by your vice president of the United States. Where is that money coming from? Not to mention the $24 billion of frozen assets that's going to be added on top of that, more than likely. So, like, this whole thing is nonsense. And even further, the statements from the Israeli defense minister, Ben-Gvir, and others just like him, I'll have you know, I pulled up that one clip, but he's not the only one saying this, basically that they need to act independently from the United States. They got to take it into their own hands and they need to continue whatever mission that they deemed, you know, necessary for their survival. So basically, like I said, throwing it in the face of Donald Trump and just vowing to defy the peace terms right off the bat. So I don't know what happens between now and Friday, but it seems like a whole hell of a lot could happen. But again, there was, I think, a couple other clips here from this one. Is the text of the agreement final? Donald Trump is asked, and he says, no, it's not final. It's a memorandum of understanding. If I don't like it, we'll go back to shooting them and dropping bombs right smack in the middle of their head. And I think I have this on Instagram, so the sound might be a little better. Let me see if I can play it like this. Might be a little smaller on the screen, but I think the sound's going to be a little better on this one.
Is the text of the agreement now final, or are you still?
No, it's not final. It's a memorandum of understanding. And if I don't like it, we'll go back to shooting at them, dropping bombs on their
When
head.
do you expect the word?
If I don't like it, if they don't behave, we'll go right back to dropping bombs right smack in the middle of their head. Okay? Because they've misbehaved for 47 years. All right?
Does it include?
But nobody could have made this deal. I mean, the JCPOA done by Obama, he handed him $1.7 billion in cash, gave him hundreds of millions of dollars, gave him big.
So before he even gets into his racist screed here against Barack Obama, like the thing that he was saying just before that about sending over cash is so blatantly ridiculous because of what we're seeing now in the memorandum of understanding, what everybody on all sides now has basically stipulated to, including JD Vance, now being stated here that, oh, you know, I mean, look at what Obama did. Look at what he sent over $1.7 billion. Like, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars that the Iranians are going to get to rebuild whatever the hell that we destroyed, re-enrich themselves as far as their missile and drone stockpile and whatever else they want to do with the amount of money that they're going to get, right? So it's like we're basically paying for all the damages that we just incurred without getting anything in return. we achieved none of our goals. Nothing that was originally stated actually happened. There wasn't this uprising of the Iranian civilization in the citizenry to take over their government and overthrow their government. The leadership wasn't eradicated. There wasn't this regime change, this entire regime change now with a completely, you know, different set of personnel with different mindsets in leading the government. That didn't take place, right? Their military capabilities weren't eradicated. It doesn't seem like we're getting anywhere with the enriched uranium because they just basically promised to continue the talks on that one as far as the memorandum of understanding is concerned. So it's like, what did we? So nothing. We got absolutely nothing. Okay. But, you know, the Iranians are going to come out of this with hundreds of billions of dollars, more power and control over the Strait of Hormuz, the ability to get tolls and taxes or whatever the fuck you want to call it, of ships going through that strait now. You know, everybody in the region is going to have to respect their ability not only to control the strait, but to withstand the military power of both the United States and Israel at the same time, which is what they did. So again, I see nothing but benefit to the Iranian side and again, failures on the United States side, which is what everybody else is recognizing as well. But he goes in here and fuck him. I don't even need to fucking play his racist ass anyway. But, you know, I'll pair what he's saying with dropping more bombs, right? Dropping more bombs on the Iranians. In case, you know, this doesn't work out, I'll drop bombs on their head. So compare that with what you're about to hear now. And then tell me that come Friday, when this thing is supposed to be finalized, whatever the fuck happens, that this is actually going to take place, right? Like the Iranians aren't going to have something to say about what Ben-Gvir is saying. They aren't going to have something to say about Donald Trump's continued threats to drop bombs on their head and to continue shooting at them. Like, that's not how a negotiation process is supposed to work. I mean, I'm no diplomat myself, but I'm pretty sure in a lot of cases, if not most cases, you don't want to go in there threatening to shoot the guy you're negotiating with, the side you're negotiating with, in the fucking face. I don't know. Maybe you're just not going to get the best outcome as far as that deal is concerned. But here's Ben-Gvir, again, Israeli National Security Minister, saying, we cannot stop destroying houses in southern Lebanon. We cannot stop. Period. We cannot allow the population of southern Lebanon to return. We must continue to control the territory, even if Trump disagrees. We are an independent state. So basically, fuck Donald Trump, fuck the United States, right? We don't care if we're disrupting world peace. We don't care if we're further destabilizing the Middle East. We don't care if we're killing innocent civilians. We don't care if we're taking out men, women, and children at a fucking rapid rate. We're going to do what we deem necessary, what we deem is fit for us here as Israel to, to protect us in our greater vision to expand our territory, right? That's basically what he's saying in not so many words. So again, I don't think this is translated, but Clash Report, like I said, like I just read, did have it translated. I'll play it just real quick. It might be on the bottom. It might be on the bottom. So let me hop out of the way. That way you guys can read it as well. So it says, continue to act also contrary to the principles of the United States. Yes, we are an independent country, and we cannot stop demolishing houses. We cannot stop, not letting the population in southern Lebanon return. This endangers our soldiers. Again, his soldiers that are in southern Lebanon, not in Israel, in southern Lebanon. So again, he's worried about the soldiers that shouldn't be in that fucking place to begin with. He says, we must not let them return to the borders. So again, we're talking about over 1 million, right? The last number I saw stated was well over 1 million Lebanese that were displaced because of what was taking place. So he's now talking about not letting potentially over 1 million people back into their homeland, back into where they live, because they deem it, in their control. They deem it their territory. And, if the people that have been living there for God knows how long, were to return to their homes, it would somehow endanger the IDF soldiers that are now occupying that territory. Now, try to put that together in your fucking mind, right? Tell me that's not just pure and utter insanity. But like I said, pair that with what you just heard from Donald Trump, like, if something doesn't happen, we'll continue shooting at them. We'll drop bombs on their head. Like, does that give you hope? Right? Does that make you trust in the process? Is that something like, oh yeah, Friday, this is definitely going to take place. We're definitely going to see, this enacted as far as, the 12 or 13 or 14 points. I'm forgetting at this juncture, but it doesn't fill me with hope. You know what I mean? And I'm sure there was a bunch of other moments here where Trump went on to embarrass the United States. But, because I'm running out of time here in the first hour, this is another one. Here's another reason. I played the other day on the show a clip from, I believe it was an Al Jazeera, or it might have been, I think it was an Al Jazeera journalist who was basically telling you guys about the dangers of traveling down that one road that he was at because of the frequent attacks from the IDF on journalists. Again, knowing that they were journalists, knowing that they weren't combatants, right? This wasn't they were getting caught up in the crossfire between Hezbollah and the IDF. This was specific attacks, specific targeting of these journalists. So I played that for you guys on the show. If you don't remember, you can go back and click through our latest shows there. But here's another one, because this is another journalist for Press TV has been hit by shrapnel while filming a report on Israeli attacks in southern Lebanon. His name is Hadi Hotet. Said he was targeted despite wearing a press vest and is in hospital receiving treatment. And I think he actually was filming at the time he was targeted. So I'll play this real quick.
And the amount of destruction is very strong. The Israelis did try to destroy the entire area.
You can see there's bleeding from, whatever caught him in the eye there. But one of his colleagues was also reporting, oh, this is probably something. Here's the Freudian slip by Randy Fine. One of the most disgusting people on the face of this earth, Randy Fine, where he actually slips up and says, should we put the interests of America over Israel? And then he answers his own question and says no. So he's on with pretty big douchebag here. What's his name? Patrick Bet David. And he's asked basically what he thinks about this whole shit. And in his answer, he says, should we put the interest of America over Israel, and then answers his own question and says no. Pretty big douchebag, calls him out, recognizing what he says, and makes him kind of retract his statement and correct what he said. But again, the Freudian slip remains. So check this out here. I'll play it from the beginning real quick, and you can see where this fat bastard slips up.
Israel's enemies are our enemies. I often say the reason they hate Israel is because Israel is small and Israel is close to where they are. And so I believe standing with Israel stands with a country that largely shares the same values that we do. Does that mean I think we should put the interests of America over Israel? No, but I haven't seen an instance where
you say, does
that
mean we should put the interest of America over Israel? No.
No. Does that mean we should put the interest of Israel over America?
Okay, I want to make sure.
Sorry, if I misspoke, I apologize. But
I don't think you misspoke. I think you said it the exact way that you wanted to say it, and it came out perfectly. I know Patrick called you out on it and you retracted it, but I'm pretty sure you meant what you said. And this is the colleague of the one that we were just reporting on. Let me throw this on real quick because she says, this is reported by Drop Site News, says journalist Heidi Hotet remains hospitalized after Israel targeted him with a drone strike while he was reporting in southern Lebanon on Monday. This is reporter Courtney Bonow says that Hotet's x-ray shows his body is, quote, full of shrapnel and he's lucky to be alive. Hotet was clearly identifiable as a journalist wearing press mark protective gear, carrying a press television microphone and filming in an open area when an Israeli drone dropped an explosive munition roughly 1 meter from him. Video shared by him shows the moment, which we just showed. And again, this is the colleague of that journalist that was targeted, just kind of giving an update and a report. So I'll play that report now.
Hi, I'm reporting to you from the city of Nabatea. Despite the new ceasefire or ceasefire within a ceasefire, whatever this is, being in effect, the Israeli army has violated it almost 100 times at this point, conducting airstrikes and artillery shelling in this area, as you can see behind me.
And again, this is, when did this report come out? This was 8 hours ago. Okay, so 8 hours ago, while the ongoing peace negotiations of a memorandum of understanding to maybe possibly pinky promise at some point, I swear, to continue the talks, maybe 60 days from now, understanding is concerned. But again, this is seemingly what's being reported still taking place here.
4 people yesterday were killed and 4 people were kidnapped by the Israeli army. And again, a couple of days ago, my friend Hadi Hittite was targeted and struck by an Israeli drone. He was attacked not far from here where the smoke is billowing from. I saw his x-rays last night. His body is full of shrapnel and he's lucky to be alive. As someone who lived through the last ceasefire period, I'm not sure why anyone thinks this time is going to be any different. I hope that I'm wrong. I would like nothing more than to be an out-of-work war correspondent because this is exhausting. And Americans, your tax dollars are paying for this.
Right. So again, all of these things coming into play, I find it very likely that there may be again a big twig thrown in the spokes of the bicycle, as it were, considered to be the memorandum of understanding. If Israel persists in the way that they're persisting, if Donald Trump continues his erratic behavior of saying something that's been released is false, while his vice president has basically confirmed that on several platforms. He's been on with Megyn Kelly, The View. I mean, the guy's been all over the place trying to, turn this piece of shit into a gold bar somehow, and he's just not making it work, right? So he's being thrown under the bus by this administration. It's all being kind of thrown on his back. I think it was Lindsey Graham that, didn't like the terms of the deal, and maybe I forget exactly what he said, but you could tell he put more blame on JD Vance almost than he did with Donald Trump. I don't think Trump was mentioned in his statement, but that brings me to this real quick before we go on to pondering politics and the clips from Fox News freaking out about this deal. I just want to throw this on real quick because this is from The Intercept. And we don't have to read this entire thing, but just to let you know, this is taking place and being reported. This says U.S. casualties in Iran are still rising. Okay, not something that you'll be surprised to hear that we were lied to consistently about. Not only the amount of equipment that was lost, the amount of damage to our bases, our stockpiles, but also the amount of military servicemen and women that were either killed or wounded in this fight. This is from The Intercept, like I said, June 16, 2026, 12:15 p.m., reported on by Nick Terse. Says the official count of U.S. personnel hurt or killed in the Iran war inched up, but it still omits hundreds of known casualties. Okay. The American-Iran war casualties crept higher even as the United States was in final stages of declaring a second ceasefire with Iran this weekend. The United States and Iran have agreed to a second ceasefire and the eventual reopening of the Strait of Hormuz under a preliminary deal scheduled to take effect on Friday, which we've been talking about. Trump's war had already killed thousands of Iranian civilians, including more than 150, most of them children, in a strike on an elementary school in Manab. The official number of dead and wounded U.S. personnel stands at 426, an almost 11% increase since the first ceasefire between the United States and Iran was struck on April 8th, okay? So somehow you tell me how there was an 11% increase during a ceasefire. Maybe because that wasn't a fucking ceasefire. Maybe because the firing didn't cease, right? Again, it wasn't our pilots and our service members, shooting themselves in the foot. It wasn't the pilots, driving them, flying themselves into the ground. No, it was them being shot at, painted, targeted, whatever you want to call it. But the number, like it says here, an 11% increase between ceasefires. So that tells me that there was no ceasefire. And then it says here that this tally, however, is missing hundreds of casualties, including 2 soldiers wounded in action earlier this month. For months, The Intercept has reported that the Pentagon's official tally of dead and wounded military personnel from the Iran war is a gross undercount, stemming from what another U.S. government official called a, quote, casualty cover-up, end quote. The Defense Casualty Analysis System, or DCAS, which tracks deceased, wounded, ill, or injured service members for Congress and the president, is missing hundreds of known casualties. The true number exceeds 625. Right, so it says when the first ceasefire was struck between the Trump administration and Iran, the tally of U.S. casualties was 385. Despite a pause in hostilities, the number slowly rose to 428, according to the Pentagon statistics, again showing the not ceasefire. On April 21st, however, the number of wounded in action troops declined by 15 without public comment from the War Department, dropping the casualty total to 413. Despite repeated questions over almost 2 months, the Pentagon has not explained this disparity in its casualty count. A defense official told The Intercept that it was impossible to tell whether the Pentagon casualty analysts were, quote, grossly incompetent or had been ordered to manipulate the figures. Since the 15 wounded vanished in April, the DCAS casualty count has steadily crept upwards to top out at 413, where it stood on Tuesday morning. This includes 1 sailor wounded in action this month. Central Command did not reply to request for further information about the injury. The official figures appear to be missing 2 soldiers who were recently wounded in action. CENTCOM spokesperson Captain Tim Hawkins told NBC News last week that 2 crew members from an U.S. AH-64 Apache helicopter downed by an Iranian drone on June 8th were receiving medical care, and a CENTCOM social media post said that they were in, quote, stable condition. But DCAS lists no Army personnel wounded in action this month. The official tally of the war dead also appears to be an undercount. For weeks, DCAS listed 13 hostile and non-hostile U.S. deaths during the war. DCAS briefly raised the total to 14 last month before dropping it back to 13 without any explanation on the fluctuation. The Pentagon list of names of the dead is still missing Major Sourfly Davies, a signals and communications officer with the New York Army National Guard who was assigned to the headquarters of the 42nd Infantry Division and reportedly died of a sudden illness while on duty in Cape Buring in Kuwait on March 6. Davies' death was widely acknowledged, even as it was excluded from the official count. Rep. Mike Lawler out of New York spoke about him during a memorial service that month, and General Dan Kane, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, recognized Davies while honoring our fallen. So it goes on to talk about the ways in which that they have kind of fudged the numbers and basically not confirmed or said why they had these numbers have been fluctuating, or if they can give an accurate depiction or count of what's actually taken place. It says this: while DCAS provides a running tally of non-hostile deaths, meaning those who died from accidents or by illness, it doesn't include non-hostile injuries. The DCAS figures show that 65 Navy personnel have been wounded in action. Missing, however, are more than 200 sailors treated for smoke inhalation or lacerations due to a March 12th fire that raged aboard the USS Gerald R. Ford. The aircraft carrier had been conducting round-the-clock flight operations to, in Kane words, protect combat power in the Middle East. The ship returned home to Norfolk, Virginia last month after 326 days at sea, the longest deployment of any U.S. Aircraft carrier since the Vietnam War. So again, you can see here as it goes on to detail more ways in which the Pentagon is not being transparent and, again, trying to, play with the numbers behind the scenes without giving an accurate, detailed account as to why they're doing that. But that brings me into this. This is, again, from our friend of the show here, Josiah, Pondering Politics. Appreciate the work he does over there. He put together a pretty good compilation of the Fox News clips in which they're, like I said, freaking out about this deal, where they're bringing up all of the ways in which the Iranians are going to come out on top, and all of the ways in which not only the United States, but as I think Brian Kilmeade puts it here, even the Israelis are coming out way on the bottom of this. So again, appreciate Josiah for putting this together. Appreciate him for letting us use his video here. And like I said, he does a pretty good job of putting together the clips of Fox News freaking out. So here's just a couple of those clips here where Fox News, to a certain degree, has kind of lost Donald Trump, or Donald Trump has lost Fox News, at least on this memorandum of understanding. It's a lot of different people. It's not just Kilmeade and this woman that's on. It's what's the general's name that's typically on there, General Keane or something like that. So again, here's just a few clips from that. Hit that like button. My name's Brian. This is the Blunt Politics Podcast. If you're just joining us for the first time, big salute and a big thank you for taking some time out of your day. Now, if you could make it even more worth your while and hit that thumbs up button, if you could subscribe to the channel, both of those things are free, won't cost you a dime. This is an independent channel. Again, no outside resources, no financial backers, no corporate sponsors, no anything like that. So it's all with your help and the community's help here. And I appreciate you guys for being here with me. All right, just like I said, a couple clips here from Josiah over at Pondering Politics. Let's get into it.
This makes absolutely no sense. That's unacceptable for everybody.
Everything about this deal seems bad to me. It all seems bad. It all seems like a setback. It doesn't seem like it meets any of the measures that the president actually put out there of his goals when it came to this conflict.
But he's at a bit of a political disadvantage because of the extravagant things he said about what we'd accomplished in the early going. You remember the goal at one time he said was unconditional surrender. Iran has lost a lot. But this is not unconditional surrender. This is what you get when you negotiate. You can't negotiate and not have to give up something.
But when I hear from administration sources some of the things that you have heard of what's in this deal, that makes no sense whatsoever. It's not defensible. We don't give them that money because what are they going to do with it? They're going to recover everything we've taken away from them. Who cares whether it's coming from the Arabs, from the Qataris, or whatever? They don't get it. They shouldn't get any of it. That's just the reality of it. They're going to take that money and recover everything, and you know that.
And again, that's a general on Fox News, a Fox News general, which is a lot different than your average regular general. Let's just say, saying the same thing that I said. Like, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day whether it's coming from, and I'm sure it does matter to a certain extent. Obviously, if it's coming from the taxpayers' pockets, if it's coming out of our coffers. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you think about it, the enemy, the person that we were told was the enemy, was an existential threat to this country, was mere minutes away from having a nuclear weapon, and not only having a nuclear weapon, but would absolutely use that nuclear weapon, right? Remember, this is what Donald Trump has been telling you about the people that he's currently negotiating with. If they had one right now, or even the previous Ayatollah, they would use it right away. They wouldn't hesitate. That's what Donald Trump has been consistently saying. But even now, he's talking about this Fox News general is like, well, none of this makes any sense, right? None of this is what Donald Trump said we were going to come out of this looking like, or with. It's a clear indication that we're capitulating, and that Iran is coming out with a lot more benefit out of this than anything that we could possibly say to the American people or to the world.
I've mentioned in multiple recent videos that Fox News is in the midst of a mass panic attack and mass revolt against Donald Trump over his disastrous Iran war, and more specifically, his disastrous Memorandum of Understanding, which is just objectively worse than President Obama's Iran nuclear deal, which Trump attacked, Fox News attacked, and Trump destroyed, and Fox News supported Trump destroying. And now we end up not just back at square one, but desperately wishing we were back at square one. So Trump is humiliated, Fox is humiliated, MAGA is humiliated, and we have to talk about Fox's panic attack and revolt against Trump. But before we unpack all of that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, folks, just to give you a snapshot of where we're going, when I say a mass panic attack and mass revolt, I mean it. For example, as Mediaite reports, quote, "This makes absolutely no sense." Fox's Brian Kilmeade torches Trump's Iran deal. Earlier in the deal, Fox's Brian Kilmeade calls out, quote, "very vague and concerning Iran deal," lays it squarely at J.D. Vance's feet. Quote, "This is his deal."
See what I'm talking about, though? Lays it square at the feet of J.D. Vance. Like, again, the lengths that they'll go to try to keep Donald Trump out of trouble, right? To keep it from, making it seem like Donald Trump is the reason, and the obvious reason for all of these things that are happening is, again, will never cease to amaze me. It's crazy that they're now trying to throw this at the feet of J.D. Vance, and whatever. I'm all for it. You want to take J.D. Vance out politically as far as, his favorability on the right, go for it. But again, to sit here and think that, it's J.D. Vance pulling the strings behind the scenes, and, we don't listen to the reporting that suggested that J.D. Vance was at least one of the people trying to push back in the White House and saying this might not be a good idea to enact this war. But again, ultimately got overruled. Is crazy. But you can see here, as reported by Mediaite, Fox's Ben Dominic shreds Trump's Iran deal, appears to brand J.D. Vance's hillbilly Obama in scathing commentary. So they're all trying to blame J.D. Vance, throwing him under the bus while he's on his little press gaggle tour, trying to, again, turn this piece of shit into a bar of gold.
Fox's Ben Dominic shreds Trump's Iran deal, appears to brand J.D. Vance, quote, hillbilly Obama in scathing commentary. Quote, most transparent administration in history, Fox's Dana Perino calls out Trump White House for keeping Iran deal details under wraps. And Jack Keane, retired general, Fox News contributor, retired general, shreds Trump's Iran's concessions on Fox News. Quote, they shouldn't get any of it. And there's more. That's how bad and collective this is in terms of the backlash. But let's go in reverse chronological order, starting with the most recent to least. Fox News' Brian Kilmeade ripped the memorandum of understanding between the United States and Iran during a Wednesday morning interview with the Hudson Institute's Rebecca Heinrich. So let's take a look.
Hudson Institute senior fellow Rebecca Heinrich joins us now. Rebecca, can we just start on the Israeli portion of it? Israel has to, I guess, stop fighting back against Hezbollah, who's lobbing missiles at the northern part of their country. This makes absolutely no sense.
How the fuck has he been living under a rock? Honestly, are the people at Fox News living under a big fucking Donald Trump turd or something? I don't understand, because that's been a stipulation for I don't know how many weeks at this point, but you guys tell me in the chat, how many weeks or how many times have we reported here on Blunt Politics that the Iranians were saying and putting a clear line in the sand and saying that if the Israelis don't stop their attacks in Lebanon against Hezbollah, we will not negotiate with the United States. We will not only agree to a peace deal, we're not even going to come to the negotiating fucking table. You know what I mean? Like, how long have we been reporting on that? So the fact that Kilmeade's like blindsided by this fact is wild to me. You know what I mean?
It makes no sense. And we also know, Brian, that there have been diplomatic attempts over and over again since the early 2000s to try to get Hezbollah to disarm. They will not.
In the background, they're playing a clip of Donald Trump not knowing where the hell he's going, right? Trump going the wrong way around the table. And you can see that this lady who's clearly tasked at getting him in the right position, getting him in the right spot is like, no, the other way, dickhead. The other way. No, your seat's over there. Watch the lady in the background over here.
Over and over again since the early 2000s to try to get Hezbollah to disarm.
No, Gramps, you're over there, dude. You see the fucking placard with your name on it? The big seat that says Donald Trump, President of the United States? You're sitting at that one, you fucking idiot.
They will not disarm. It has never worked through negotiations.
Yeah,
Diplomacy.
look at her. She's like, yeah, I'll hold my hand. I'll walk you over. I know this is tough. It's the only empty chair that nobody's sitting in. And again, got your fucking name literally written on it. But hold on, let me walk you over, sir.
At this point, if this is tied to this deal.
And this is where he says, I'm the boss. Again, after he's lost in the sauce, didn't know where the fuck he's going. Look at the lady above my head. She's like, what's he doing? Like, come on, buddy. Come on. This way. Shut up. But again, who stops in the middle of, again, all of these world leaders, diplomats, media, and says, I'm the boss, right? Like, this just erratic, dementia-riddled fucking behavior that he's got going on just consistently gets worse and worse and more embarrassing every time he's, again, on the world stage. It's one thing when he's falling asleep at the Oval Office with the rest of his dickhead sycophants standing behind him. It's another thing when he's like, near the fucking president of France and, all of these other world leaders. Like, it's a whole different story when the world's press is, again, got their eyes gazed upon this fucking demented fool.
United States would essentially be restraining Israel, our greatest ally in the region.
You can't blame Netanyahu for this. They're defending themselves. They just happen to be very good at defending themselves. It's not their fault that they're this strong and this devastating. And Syria is not equipped to take out Hezbollah.
What an absolutely fucking asinine argument that is. It's not Israel's fault that they're so powerful. Right. It's not like, basically what he's saying that a military can get to a certain point where they're so powerful they don't have to worry about civilian casualties. I mean, how ludicrous is that? Okay, you're telling me that the most powerful or the most technologically advanced, so to speak, or whatever military he's trying to espouse right now or give credits to the Israeli military, like you're trying to tell me that they don't have the ability to control themselves? So again, when the Germans had, I don't know, what is it, 1.5 million, 1.75 million troops on the fucking border of Poland, that they shouldn't be held to a certain account, they shouldn't have been able to control themselves, or when they had, what was it, was a little over 3 million, 3.5 million going into the Battle of France, or the nearly 4 million going into Operation Barbarossa, right? I mean, you're telling me that a military of that size shouldn't be able to control itself, shouldn't be asked to control itself? I mean, again, this ridiculous tainted argument that he's coming up with here is just ludicrous.
Well, even though they'd love to, they have no missiles.
And Trump was the one who proposed that Syria do it in Israel's stead. And so now Brian Kilmeade is openly defying and contradicting Trump in real time.
Defense. Hezbollah's got rockets. Let's talk about the deal. What concerns you most about what we now know about this deal as we wait 2 days for the formal reading of the deal?
And we really have the Iranians in a vice, which is why I'm concerned that we would permit the Iranians access to their oil as we relieve this blockade. They would essentially have billions of dollars back into the IRGC coffers. I know the vice president continues to say this would be...
That's on top of the billions and billions of dollars that we're going to give them in frozen Iranian assets, and on top of the potential, hypothetical, possible, but is in every friggin' leaked report of what's in the memorandum of understanding, the $300 billion fund. So that's on top of all that, the money that they'll be able to profit off of, again, their continued sales of oil, again, the lifting of sanctions, the tolls and fees that they're going to be able to collect after, 30 or 60 days. They'll be able to talk about that, whether it's just Iran or Iran and Oman. Again, all of these things seem to be, checking off the fucking boxes as far as victories for the Iranian side. I'm still waiting for one on the United States' side, though.
Based, but as far as I can tell, this isn't even going to be put in escrow accounts to trap it, to make sure the IRGC complies. We have no reason to believe that they will, so they will be flooded with cash almost immediately. My second big concern is that the deal does recognize Iranian governance with other Gulf states over the Strait of Hormuz. Now, the Iranians will say they just want to collect environmental tolls. They're not going to call it tolls.
Thank you, Colleen. Appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. Anybody that's gifting and donating in that chat, especially to other chatters, very much appreciate that. Thank you for the 10 gifted memberships to people in that chat. Obviously, 10 fantastic people that decided to take a little time out of the day to spend it here with our community, and now getting access to a Boston Brian membership for a month. Again, the Boston Brian memberships here on YouTube, the Patreon community at patreon.com/Boston Brian, definite backbones of this community. So again, thank you, Colleen, for adding to that. Very much appreciated. Very much appreciated.
That's tolls. Brian, that's worse than before Epic Fury.
And again, this is coming from Fox News. I'll just want to reiterate, right? This isn't like, this might be shit that you guys know and that we've talked about here on the show before, and that is pretty clear to everybody that's been paying attention. But this is Fox News that is now expressing this amount of concern for this clear and utter capitulation and clearly beneficial deal to the Iranians and not to the United States side. So again, I just want to make sure that everybody recognizes that this is Fox News that's displaying this kind of angst against this. But let's see what else. He's got a couple other clips as well.
That's bad, folks. Again, I prefer this. I put my cards on the table. I prefer this humiliation to a hot war with Iran, which should have never been initiated in the first place. But I'm not going to grade Trump on a curve. I'm not going to kiss his ass, and I'm not going to pretend that this deal was a...
No, and again, that's, I think, the similar thing that we stipulated on this show. Basically, this is obviously better than bombs being dropped on girls' schools, but obviously not a situation where Donald Trump gets any credit for this situation that we now find ourselves in. So two things can be true at the same time, right? We can be happy, we can be glad that the bombs and missiles allegedly, apparently, maybe are not going to be flying anymore, while also living within reality and saying that we're in a much more destabilized, a much more difficult situation than we were in just before Operation Epstein Fury began. I don't think that's too hard to stipulate on both accounts. All right, just for the sake of time, like I said, because we only have an hour today, I'm going to go ahead here where he's got a couple other clips from Fox News and this Mediaite article talking about how scared and worried and disappointed they are in this deal, the terms of the deal.
Brian Kilmeade calls out, quote, very vague and concerning Iran deal.
The MOU calls for the Strait of Hormuz to be reopened in the near term. All right. The MOU stipulates, quote, that Iran will make arrangements using its best efforts for the safe passage of commercial vessels with no charge for 60 days. Hold on here. Best efforts? What do you mean best efforts? Just back out of there. We'll pick up the money.
And again, I don't even think he said or recognized the most important stipulation in that point that he read, right? Which was the toll part and the fee part for 60 days. So basically after 60 days, it sounds to me like it's very much likely and very much a possibility that the toll situation or the fee situation, whatever you want to call it, is going to come to fruition, is something that is likely going to come into play, which again shows total, complete control over the Strait of Hormuz by Iran. Not the United States, not the United States and our allies, not the United States in anything but the fucking Iranians, okay? So that's what that shows me, and you can hear it in Kilmeade's voice here in the background, how like he's shocked that, you know, the art of the deal guy would be able to make a deal this shitty.
It's not best efforts. That's a specific vague language. And what happens after 60 days? Word is they're going to get together with Oman, and Iran's going to get together with Oman and charge tolls.
Here's the problem.
If that's the case, that's unacceptable for everybody.
Well, the good news is gas prices have gone down, so that's great. If the strait is open, that helps.
Okay. What's her name? What's this bitch's name? I can't stand her. Ainsley Earhart, right? That's her name. Brainsley Deadhot, or whatever you want to call her. But to sit there and be like, well, at least gas prices are coming down. It's like, are you fucking out of your mind, right? Do you hear the terms of the deal that we're talking about? Do you understand what we just went through? Do you understand how many billions of dollars that we just spent and invested and wasted in munitions? And again, do you understand how many millions of dollars in damage has been done to U.S. bases and how much of our power has been degraded, not only in the Middle East, but again, for the world to look at this and see that in conjunction with the Israeli military, that the United States imposing their will upon the Iranians, whether through bombs, missiles, drones, blockades, whatever you want to call it, right? All of that was taking place, did not have the effect, did not have the desired impact to bring the Iranians to their knees, right? It didn't. It didn't make their economy collapse. It didn't make their government get overthrown by the people. None of those things. Their military is still, nearly as capable as it was just before Epstein Fury. Again, listening to their reports, they're even more fucking capable. Yeah, again, take that with a grain of salt. The obvious propaganda coming out of that, but even the United States intel assessments stipulates that between 40 and even 70% of Iranians' missiles and drone programs and abilities still are intact, regardless of what the Iranians say. So it's not like you have to take their word for it either. But let's just play here a couple more of these clips from Fox News.
That helps with gas prices globally. Here's the thing, though, Brian. You're reading a list of what you think the deal looks like, possibly. There's another list here in front of me. There's another list here in front of you. What does the real deal say?
Trump.
Yeah, again, how about you ask the White House to release it? Like, wouldn't that make sense? Something that you signed electronically after, I don't know, bashing Joe Biden for using the auto pen. All of a sudden now it's okay when it's Donald Trump because he can't keep his fucking eyes open. But, I'm just saying, why don't you ask the White House to release the actual terms? But apparently they don't want to do that. They'd rather send J.D. Vance out to obfuscate and lie about what's going to happen. Let me see if there was a couple more. Yeah, there was this guy that was showing his concern, and then we'll go on to the last clip, and I'll get you guys out of here.
This exuberance, this optimism that they've reached this thing.
This president has been I think he's been the best foreign policy president of my lifetime. I think that he's been. And
something bad's coming, right? Something bad's coming right when these guys get their tongue out and they start licking the scrotum of Donald Trump that hard, right? When they start getting out their fucking shoe shine and polishing the shoes right before they start fucking licking the boots of Donald Trump. Like when they start licking that hard, they're about to come back with, but, if I were to be in this position, I would have done this, or this doesn't look good. So, he's about to say something bad, but they always have to start it off with, I think he's the best, I think he's the greatest, he's the most handsome, I think he's the most fit, all of this bullshit. So that again, when Donald Trump inevitably sees this clip on Fox News, because that's all he fucking watches, he doesn't get that pissed off. He's kind of still got that, he's still got the compliments in his head as he's listening to you now say that he's a fucking moron and signed the worst deal possible. So I'm sure that's what he's about to stipulate.
Incredibly bold. He has used American power to restore our sovereignty, to protect our interests, and to look out for the American people. And I think it was a gutsy call for him to go into Iran when he did. He didn't have to do it, but he did it. He thought it was the right time. And I still think that was the right decision.
But
this deal and everything that we know about it, to the degree that it is being spun in public by this, and behind the scenes by the administration, Everything about this deal seems bad to me. It all seems bad. It all seems like a setback. It doesn't seem like it meets any of the measures that the president actually put out there of his goals when it came.
Because it fucking doesn't. Because it doesn't. This illusion that he's trying to create of this like overwhelming victory is just not coming to fruition. Nobody's buying it. Not inside the United States, not outside the fucking United States. It looks so bad. It sounds so bad because it is so fucking bad. That's just, there's no other ifs, ands, or buts about it. No, period, point blank, end of story. That's all there is to it. That's it.
Into this conflict. And look, at some point, this Republican Party needs to decide which kind of foreign policy it's going to have. Is it going to be an America First foreign policy, one that is bold, that uses American power in key moments decisively in order to affect what it wants to achieve? Or are we going to just backslide into being some kind of hillbilly Obama kind of GOP? That is not something that is acceptable to me. It should not be acceptable to Republicans, and it should not be acceptable to any conservative who is interested in the...
Again, is that a sly shot at JD Vance, right? Again, you saw Kilmeade throw him under the bus. Like I said, I think there was a Lindsey Graham quote that's floating around out there, kind of throwing JD Vance under the bus as well. But there's a few more of those, to tell you the truth. But I appreciate Josiah over there at Pondering Politics for putting that together, making it a little easier for us to show you guys exactly how freaked out Fox News is over this. I only got about 5 minutes left, so I'll probably save James O'Brien and our Ukraine reporting for this evening. Again, I don't like, just trying to skim and fly through that. I like to give it the time it deserves. So why don't we finish here? This is probably a good way to finish after hearing that nonsense. This is Newsmax's Rob Finnerty. Okay. And he thinks he is Shaquille O'Neal. He thinks that Michael Jordan he just turned himself into Michael Jordan and start dunking from the free throw line, right? He thinks he does a slam dunk here on liberals, and boy, does this fucking swing and a miss, right? So like I said, we only got a couple minutes left. I just want to dive into the absurdity, the ridiculousness of, again, Rob Finnerty thinking that he's like the cool guy in the crowd, right? Like he's going to call liberals and people on the left losers, like it's apparent that he's the cool guy in the group and he didn't get fucking swirlies in high school. But here he is, like I said, a couple minutes of this, and there's this one that we'll dive into tonight. This is from a couple days ago, but I think it's still, there's not all that much that has changed. I think all of the facts and figures and statements still remain here from James O'Brien on LBC, where he says, if you haven't already realized Trump is a deranged, lying idiot, you never will, which again, I second all aspects of that quote. And then, like I also said, there is this update here from the professor that we'll get into later this evening. A lot of really good news for Ukraine today, which is always something that, is a good thing to wake up and hear. But let's dive into, again, a little bit of this Rob Finnerty clip, thinking that he's slam dunking this one. He thinks he got away with like a 360 backflip between the legs, off the scoreboard, off the backboard, off the coach's head in a swish type of thing, when really he's floundering and can't swim right next to the dock and is crying and screaming for his girlfriend to pull him out of the water. All right, here we go.
I've thought about this for a while. So Occam's razor,
which is even more pathetic. This makes it all the more pathetic that he's got this brewing inside him. He's probably been planning this segment for fucking 10 years or however long he's been at Newsmax, and this is what it turned into.
Says that the simplest answer is usually the correct one, and that's what I think is happening here. The definition of the word loser includes words like unfortunate, misguided, lacking direction, socially awkward, unpleasant. Do any of those...
All great descriptors of Donald Trump himself. Unfortunate, unpleasant, misguided, loser, lacking direction, as we just saw, couldn't even find his fucking seat at the G7. Socially awkward, right? Yelling, I'm the boss in the middle of a room where nobody's even fucking talking to you. Strange shit, right? So to try to put this on people on the left in general is hilarious when he seems to be describing everybody, not only from Donald Trump down to everybody in his administration, but also the entire of the MAGA cult. The entirety of the MAGA cult can be described by these terms here.
Words remind you of a political party in particular, like
yes, MAGA, Republicans, absolutely, right off the bat. As soon as you said, you could have just left loser on the screen, right? If you could have done away with unfortunate, unpleasant, misguided, lacking direction, and socially awkward. And if you just blasted loser on the screen, I'm sure my brilliant chat would have come up with the correct answer on that one, which would have been Republicans right off the bat. It's a waste of other digits. You could have saved a lot of other space for some cool graphics on that one. You could have just stuck with loser.
Maybe the Democrat Party today as a whole. You can say what you want about Donald Trump, but that man is not a loser. Literally.
No. How many court cases did he lose? I'm just saying. Can we go back to January 6th? How many court cases did he lose for that one? What was it? Something like 50 or 60 different court cases that told him to fucking pound sand because he had absolutely no evidence. How many court cases did he lose to come away with 34 different fucking felony counts? Just, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. How many businesses did he lose? Like, how many have gone bankrupt? Like we talk about Trump Water, Trump Ice, Trump Airlines, Trump Magazine, all the hotels and casinos that he owned. I think that's a loser. I think he lost on that shit. And again, whether or not he made out in the back end and it was like, you know, a planned attack on his own businesses to collect insurance, you know, who the fuck knows? Because he's a con man, he's a fraudster. So obviously that's a thing that you have to keep in the realm of possibilities. But the fact that you're trying to say now that Donald Trump isn't a loser is hilarious.
He's not a loser. He's a two-term president.
In the 2020 election. Let's not forget the 2020 election too. Not a loser though. Not a loser.
United States. But figuratively, he's not a loser either. He's a
definitely a loser. The biggest loser, in fact. The biggest loser.
He's a winner. He was impeached twice during his first term. Then
imagine, oh my Jesus. Like, shouldn't that tell Rob something? And I'm running out of time. I know. I apologize. I got to toss it over. But shouldn't that tell Rob something? Like, the first thing he has to bring up to try to convince everybody that Donald Trump is a winner is his first two impeachments. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Like, what's a good? It's like trying to get everybody to believe that like somebody in your family is a winner, and the first thing that you show them is like his arrest record. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, look at all the shit he's been in jail for. But great guy, great fucking guy. You know what I mean? It's I don't know. It's crazy. But like I said, I apologize. Run out of time today. I got to throw it over to my main man Jeff over there on this space. Thank you so much to all the mods over there. Please stick around here at Blunt Politics so I can thank everybody on Venmo and everybody here at the chat that sent in a contribution to the show. But I'll kick it over there to like I said, my main man Jeff over there on this space. Big salute, big shout out to you guys. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to Matt. Appreciate you guys. I hope you have a great day. All right. Yeah. So sorry we didn't get into all of the things that I wanted to get into, but like I said, the hour goes by pretty rapidly here on Wednesday afternoon. So that's why I'm pleased to have the second show tonight, just to kind of scoop up and catch anything that we may have missed. But what do you say we get into thanking some people that may have been kind enough to send in the coinage that they find in between the couch cushions over there to the Venmo? Because like I said, we're an independent channel. We rely solely upon the generosity of you guys and keeping this show going. Like I said, no financial backers, no corporate sponsors, no ads run during the show. We survive basically solely on you guys and the merch site over at bostonbrian.com. Fantastic merch pertaining to Ukraine, pertaining to being on the, being in the resistance, being part of the opposition. Obviously, if you want to represent Blunt Politics, we got hats and mugs and stickers and T-shirts over there. You can stop pretending that your racism is patriotism. One of my favorite. So yeah, make sure you head over to bostonbrian.com and let's get into thanking some people on Venmo that are nice enough to keep this show going. So thank you so much to Dame. Very much appreciate you, brother, for sending over the $10 over here on Venmo. Slava Ukraini, right back at you. Thank you so much to Brian H. As usual, Bri Guy, thank you so much. Says Slava Ukraine. Let's start this off right. Trump got scorched, as did the country. This was and is horseshit ploy to make up for stupidity. Much appreciated for keeping this show going, my friend. And then, as I typically do, I like to read out the last couple days just to make sure everybody gets their moment in the sun. So thank you, Sarah G, for the $2 that you sent in yesterday. Thank you, Yakov, for the $2 that you sent in. Thank you, Tom and Victoria, for the 25 that you guys sent in. Very much appreciate that. Roger and Karen for the 2 that you sent in. Allison M for the 7 that you sent in. Nina for the 2. Thank you so much. And Beth, thank you so much for the 5 again over the last few days, and everybody that's been nice enough to contribute. There's a Venmo up here in the corner of the QR code. If you just hold your cell phone up to that with the camera, should take you directly to the Boston Brian Venmo. And like I said, all we ask for is $1 or $2. We're not trying to get rich quick off the backs of anybody. We're just trying to be able to, consistently keep the lights on, keep the microphone working. I purchased some new lights. What do you guys think of the lights? Were they distracting? Were they okay? I have quite literally 15 million different settings that I could use on these bad boys. So hold on, let me see if I can get the click. I'll show you these things. Watch this. I mean, I can have it even like go to my voice if I want. right? Let me see if I can do, I think it's this one. Like every time I talk, it'll go to my voice, or if there was music playing, it'll go to my voice. But there's a bunch of different modes. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Hopefully it wasn't too distracting or anything. I find them pretty cool. We'll figure out what the correct setting and mode should be to make it perfect for you guys in the background. But yeah, appreciate it. Thank you guys for everything you do. We could have just solid blue if you want, right? I think like I can have one yellow and one blue to represent the Ukraine, but might be a little too much. But we'll stick with the blue for now, or maybe some designs. But all right, let's get into thanking some people. Let's get into thanking some on the YouTube side of things. That's what I was going to say. Starting it off today is going to be Frank, my man. Let's go, Frank. Frank the Tank. Let's go, brother. Chump change time. Thank you so much. Not chump change to me. All of this is extremely appreciated. I am so grateful for everything that you guys continue to do. I want to continue to drill that home. I know because I watch all of these other accounts and channels that you guys watch that you don't get told enough how much that you guys do in raising up these channels to the heights and getting them to be able to make the money that they make. It's all off the backs of you guys, and because of your support, your passion, your consistency, your aggression in all of this. So I want to make sure if you're not going to get the the applause in other places, you're definitely going to get it here. So very much appreciate everything that you do. And Frank, thank you, and definitely not chump change by any stretch of the imagination. Slacks in the house. Appreciate you, Slacks, for the $20 contribution. Shout out to you, my friend. Hope you're having a great time celebrating that Knicks championship. And again, like I said, big congratulations to all of you guys. Just don't burn down the fucking city. You know what I mean? That's all I ask. Just don't burn the bitch down. But thank you, Slacks. Hope you have a great day. Rosanna, thank you so much. What's going on? Happy member for 20 months. Thank you. Love to all, she says. Right back at you. Can't thank you enough for all that you've done for this channel. Being a member for 20 months is a huge commitment. And again, it doesn't go unnoticed. All of you guys, hopefully at the end of the show, you recognize in the end credits that we try to put as many names as humanly possible in there so you can see it and get the recognition, whether it be Patreon here or the YouTube members. I think there's too many YouTube members, to be fair. So I think it may be just the Patreon, but again, I recognize and see all of you and love right back at you. I appreciate you, Rosanna. Thank you for 20 months of loyalty, and hopefully we're here for at least another 20 more. All right. Thank you, Abby, for becoming a new YouTube member. Very much appreciate that. And your exquisite cat, who looks to be a lot smarter than I am at this point in time. But thank you, Abby. Hope you're having a great day. Hopefully we see you guys later on tonight again, 8:30 on the East Coast, 5:30 on the West Coast, depending on where you live in between. You can figure it out for yourself. But thank you so much, Abby, for contributing to this to this channel. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Colleen, as well, for the $10 contribution. Big shout out to you. W's in the chat for everybody obviously thrown in a contribution. Heard this morning that Mark Wayne Mullen has $1 million invested in Kratom Company. How many cabinet folks are using? What is Kratom? Should I know that? Let's see here. Kratom. Unsafe and in effect. Kratom is a supplement that is sold as an energy booster, mood lifter, pain reliever, and remedy for the symptoms of quitting opioids. Is that what we're talking about? Is that what you're referring to? I'd have to look more into it unless you, like I said, you're talking about something else. But that's what comes up when I type in Kratom. National Institute on Drug Abuse. Kratom commonly refers to an herbal substance that can produce opioid and stimulant-like effects. Kratom and Kratom-based products, unless I'm way off, like I said, unless you're talking about something completely different and I'm way off. But either way, your $10 contribution is very much appreciated, Colleen, as always. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you this evening as well. And then, like I said, how unbelievable are you? Let's go. 10 gifted memberships, 10 fantastic people in the chat getting a 1-month membership for less than a gallon of gas. You get a membership here if you want to sign up for yourself. Also, you can gift people out the memberships too. So thank you so much, Colleen, for everything that you've been doing here. Thank you, Karen, for becoming a new YouTube member. Very much appreciate seeing new faces and new names in the chat, and people signing up to be a member of the channel means that we're going in the right direction, slowly but surely, right? Slowly but surely. Politics is never that like rapid growth. I know there's channels out there that have seen it, but on a larger basis, it's typically not the area in which you see that explosive growth. Not only that, but the the things that we talk about, the topics that we talk about are not typically the ones that, ads, even though I have the YouTube ads on, I think the lowest they can have are off. I forget at this point. I don't even think I have them on, but it's typically not the ones that the ads, if they were to boost your channel, are going to look into, whether we're talking about Gaza or the West Bank, or obviously what's going on in Lebanon, or what's taking place in Ukraine, talking about Russia, the IDF, Netanyahu, all those things, not really, things that they're boosting up on the old algorithm, let's just say. So I appreciate you guys for trying to pick up the slack and make up the difference for that. Karen, right back at you. Thank you so much for becoming a new YouTube member. Thank you, No Money G. Keep up the fight of our lives, Brian. Let's fucking go. Very much appreciated. No Money G. Thank you for being here for 13 months. And that fight is only going to happen with us linked arms. Okay. That fight only happens with us together. And still to this moment, I don't think we're doing enough. Myself included. Okay. Myself included. We're not angry enough. We're not pissed off enough. We're not pushing back enough. We're not fighting back enough. We're not in the streets enough. And like I said, that is put on myself, including with everybody else. So I just think that we need to recognize the danger of the moment and the severity of the moment, and we need to react accordingly. So No Money G, with your help, and again, with your persistence and you guys at my side, it makes it a lot easier to continue the fight. So very much appreciate you. Hope you have a great day. Hope to see you later on this evening. Thank you so much to Sint. What's that? Sint McG, or is it Sin T McG? I'm going to call it Sin. I'm going to go with Sin, or C. Let's go with C. What's going on, C? I think that gets me out of a little bit of trouble. No, but thank you so much for the $10 contribution. Very much appreciated. I always love to see people in the chat contributing to this channel. Make sure that the algorithm knows that you guys not only like what you're watching, enjoy what you're watching, but enjoy contributing and enjoy engaging with what you're watching. So very much appreciate you, C. Thank you for the 10. And like I said, hope to see you guys later on this evening. No Money G back at it for another 2. Let's go. Great show as always. And it's only because you guys are watching. That makes it a great show. Let's go. Nola, thank you so much to you for the $2. Found this in my chair. Let's go. That's what I look for. That's what I look for. Where it's like, you're finding that money in your jeans that you just washed or you just dried, and it's not taken away from any other aspect of your life. Like, that's kind of what we're looking for. Every now and again, hopefully we get the whales to come in that don't mind, throwing a good chunk of change at an independent creator every so often. But it doesn't happen that often. So again, like I said, I'm reliant upon you fantastic people in the chat. And I just hope, like I said, I'm not putting anybody in a financial hole. But appreciate you, Nola. Thank you so much for finding that within the seat cushions. Thank you, Frank, as well, for another 2 for JD. Let's go. Let's go. We got chatters contributing for other chatters at this point. That's how great of a community we've built. Let's go, Frank. Appreciate you, my man. Let's go, Vinny. Thank you so much for the $10 contribution. Can't stay long, but I'm always here in spirit. Smiles. Let's go, Vinny. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much for popping in. And obviously, the $10 contribution means a lot. Hope you're having a great day. Hope everybody's having a successful day. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, Vinny, for rounding it out today as well. Being a member for 20 months as one of the top 2 best places on the interweb. And that is a huge compliment. That is a huge compliment to see that, again, people continue to return time and time again, to see that you guys get along in the chat and you aren't afraid to disagree, right? That's kind of what I've tried to establish that chat as, or like the rules for the chat. I know there tends to get this like culty mentality around these channels, and I try at all costs to avoid that. I know we have our gimmicks and the Bryantologist and, all of the things that, make the channel fun and things like that. But I want to make sure that people in the chat are allowed to disagree with me. They're allowed to say things that you might not like about me, as long as they're not being bigoted, racist, homophobic. They're not exposing anybody's address or threatening violence. Then, all of those people go to help boost the numbers and help, show the algorithm that there's a lot happening in the chat. So one of the first things that I told all the mods, and I've been very blessed with the most fantastic mods from basically the start, the jump here, and I couldn't be more thankful for you guys. But basically, that's what I said. You know what I mean? I just don't want it to turn into, a lot of these other channels you guys will recognize. It gets very culty. If the first thing that somebody says against the creator, they're timed out or they're sent out, or, there's a billion people attacking them in the chat. And I have no problem with people, attack them with facts, attack them with things that you've learned here on the show, and go back in a debate and conversation. I like heated conversation. I like heated debate. I like wearing your heart on your sleeve. I mean, look at the show. I mean, you guys have watched me for long enough to understand that. But we're not just going to immediately boot somebody out because they think I'm an idiot, or, they disagree with something that I said. That's something that, hopefully that kind of separates us a little bit from other channels. So like I said, very appreciative of the mods and all the work that you guys do and trying to keep that going and trying to keep that policy in place. And like I said, all of the other people surrounding this and helping support this channel, watching this either live or later on, hitting that like button, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, or Substack, you are all just as important, and I appreciate the shit out of you. I really do. So I'll see you guys later on this evening, 8:30 p.m. Stay loud, stay proud, stay aggressive. Get the fuck out of your seats and into the streets, please. We are just not pissed off enough. And like I said, anything that we missed today, we'll be going over some insights into Ukraine and some other things. Obviously, James O'Brien from LBC later on this evening. So make sure you hit the notification bell. That'll let you know that I go live later on in case you forget. And otherwise, I think another great show. But like I said, I'm typically biased in that regard because I got my name on it. You know what I mean? But all right, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for everything that you've done and continue to do for this channel. Please make sure you hit the like button on the way out if you haven't done so already. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, but you find yourself coming back, even if you disagree with a lot of what I say, but you still find some sort of strange pleasure in the engagement, hit the subscribe button. It's not going to kill you. It doesn't cost you a dime. And again, it just helps grow the channel. So thank you guys. Big salute. Much appreciated. And I will see you this evening. And I think one of these buttons will take me out of here. And I think it's this one. Much appreciated. Later, guys. Debbie, I think that was Shave the Whales. I think it was Shave the Whales. Save the Whales? Oh, is that what they did with them? Tell me the movie. Come on. Tell me the movie.
He says rectum damn near killed him. Taking him back to Nevada where he's wanted for banging horses. What in the hell was that all about? I'm just dandy. I got a bowl of chocolate pudding in my underpants. I didn't say mud, I said crud. You fall into some crud or something? They call them dumps, big massive dumps. Yesterday's a hard word for me.
They've been conserved since the time of lobsters, right? There weren't trees around when lobsters first manifested themselves on the planet.
Wrong.
Вітаю, Бостон Брайан. Мій позивний танцор. Я представник 72-ї бригади. Дякую тобі і твоїм підписникам за цей донат, за цю чудову машину, яка буде нас возити усіх на позиції, захищати Україну і наближати перемогу. Разом усі до перемоги. Дякую.
Missed it by that much.
Like we always do about this time.
The water coming here is dead. Somebody said, is that a Trump statement or is that real? We're inviting Americans from all across the country to come. Here's a thought. Grow a sack, fill it with some balls. The kidney has a very special place in the heart. It's an incredible thing. For miners, do we love miners? I love miners. God bless the United States. How to officially name the undisputed. When did this come out?
Oh, go fuck yourself.
Oh, get those lights off! Off!
Oh, go fuck yourself.
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
Eating the dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people that live there. For the rest of my life, I have the curse that I have.
Мій позивний танцор. Я представник 72-ї бригади. Дякую тобі і твоїм підписникам за цей донат, за цю чудову машину, яка буде нас возити усіх на позиції, захищати Україну і наближати перемогу. Разом усі до перемоги. Дякую.
Refer to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small.
Hey, you got a little chubby going there.
What an unbelievable battle that was, the Battle of Gettysburg. What an unbelievable, I mean, it was so much and so interesting and so vicious and horrible and so beautiful in so many different ways. It represented such a big portion of the success of this country. Gettysburg, wow. Go fuck yourself. Gettysburg, what an unbelievable battle that was, the Battle of Gettysburg. What an
Army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
You're a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your...
Our army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
Man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
Bad news. Even when it's good news, it's bad news.
Вітаю, Бостон Брайан. Мій позивний танцор. Я представник 72-ї бригади. Дякую тобі і твоїм підписникам за цей донат, за цю чудову машину, яка буде нас возити усіх на позиції, захищати Україну і наближати перемогу. Разом усі до перемоги. Дякую.